Hey guys, it is 12:20 a.m. and I have been really trying to get some content going for our Instagram and our Discord, and I don't know what I'm saying, but I'm trying to say YouTube. And so I decided that I was going to show you a little bit on what goes into making all of these horses. I don't believe that I'm showing you guys anything here that is revealing in the sense of like I probably shouldn't show you insider knowledge. So Teehee may delete later when I realize how stupid I am if I did do something that was bad. But pretty much the first thing that I do is I create all of the horses in a very high quality. So you'll notice right now I'm working at 600 by 600 pixels, but whenever I create the graphics, I typically create them at like 3000 by 3000, 4000, sometimes even 6000 by 6000. They have to be an exact square. And then I go through, and over here on the right, which you can't see, is all of my layers. And so my layers will actually have all of the different categories. So I've got bay, seal, chestnut, duns, browns, etc. And that's all on the right hand side over here. And then what I do is I slowly will export out everything, and I export it out at the 600 by 600 because it is going to be easier for the system, the web, to pull a 600 by 600 graphic than it is a 4000 by 4000. And I've learned that this is the size that I like using. So after I create all of them, which is literally about 500 of them, I then go through and I will export out all of the graphics, give them their name, and create them for the actual site. And so that includes naming them, setting them as a PNG, and then re-exporting out. So the way that I do my naming scheme is pretty fun too. This is a done, that's why I'm getting angry. Copper done. The way that I do the naming scheme for a lot of these is, also if you hear sound, it's because I have a game open on the right hand side, because when do I not have a game open? But the way that I do this is again a done, is I typically will do the name of the breed. So in this case, this is the Gaited horse foal, and this is what I call the breed short. So in the sense of like Appaloosa, it's Appy. In the sense of like Arabian, it's Arab. In the sense of quarter horse, it's quarter, stuff like that. So this is going to be the breed short of Gaited H, and then we've got the color, and then I have F for the full graphic. And then when we go over and we do the adult, it's going to be a AD for adult. This is just kind of the naming scheme that I created when I first started the game, and since that was how I originally did it, I had to continue using it, otherwise the code has no idea, because the way that it pulls it from the database is it says, okay, first of all, I want to know the breed short, in this case would be Gaited H. I want to know the color, which would then be the middle part, and then is this an adult or a full graphic, and that's how it actually pulls the graphic in that way by creating the name. And after I finished exporting everything, I run a file that pretty much checks my names, because while I'm doing this right now, there is a lot of spelling mistakes sometimes. And so the next file knows all of the horse colors that it is supposed to be, and it'll say, hey, you messed up, and I'm expecting to have a smoky cream here, but I have only a smoky black. Or we're looking for a cremello, but you also have this file called bellello or something, and it's because I've spelt things wrong. So in that case, it will tell me what files I have that don't qualify and what files I am actually missing. And I will then go and get the files that it's missing and stuff like that, rename stuff, reorganize. After I have gotten all of the files in order, I upload all of it to the server. So I run another script on it that says everything in this folder needs to upload into the database. Bronze buckskin. So it uploads all of the graphics into the database, and then it uploads all of it into the actual buttermilk buckskin. I can totally type and spell. Into the actual data, into the, oh my gosh, the site, which is called, just like where my server is. So once that happens, then we move on to the next step, which is typically the breeding testing. So I'm gonna make these a little bit darker on these guys. So then I would go and check all of my scripts when it comes to breeding to make sure that everything will go correctly when breeding, that it will take the correct, man, yeah, this was a brilliant idea to talk while I'm trying to also focus on colors. It will take the names and it'll double check that everything is running correctly as far as the breeding goes. Yes. Oh my gosh. Use your brain. But in this one specifically, this morning I did the markings. So markings all get exported out. That's already been done for this breed. The only thing that has not been done for this breed is now secondary coats. So this batch that I'm working on, I'm actually doing the single coats only. So now what I do is I bring it back to my 4000 by 4000. I save it as my 4000 by 4000. And then what we're gonna do here is take all of the files I just did. We're gonna put it into my Foals folder and into my solid folder. And we're gonna open this one up. And we're gonna close this one. So now this one's open. And I've already done the, I think I did, right? Markings, yeah, I already did. So this is like, all of these are our markings. They're saved as separate files so that they can overlay on top of the graphic. And they're saved in a markings folder. And then in my overlays folder, I've got all of the overlays all embedded into it. And you'll notice that like, with these lines, I have to actually keep the lines free so that it doesn't actually cover it. So sometimes you guys will put bug reports in and be like, hey Red, we're noticing that color is going over, like white is over the lines, and that is going to be this. If I don't delete the lines of these borders, then you guys will see that lining or the white over the line, because this goes right on top of the color. So now we're going to quickly go through and do the these guys. So we're going to drop our image size to 600 by 600. This will significantly reduce all of the problems that we've got with the graphics so that they're smaller for the web to actually understand. I am a little tired from today. but I said I was going to get this done, and me recording it is actually making me get it done. So you guys are going to sit with me, and we're going to make a video out of it so that I actually get it done. Golden Bay, and then tomorrow, which is a day off for me, will include me... Ooh, see that mistake? I made that one an F because I was doing habit. So we're going to change that to AD. Tomorrow I'll only have one more to do, and after I finish that one more with the markings and the first coat colors, then we'll move on to secondary for all of them. But the double jeans are a lot harder because I have multiple colors that overlap and overlay, so it's a fun time for the doubles. So I want to do them all together, otherwise I feel like I'm going to miss out on some of them. The fun thing, actually, you'll notice that when it comes to... Really? No, come on. You'll notice that when it comes to the... I didn't do these, did I? No, I didn't. Okay. You'll notice when it comes to mahogany, I actually have it completely spelled wrong. That's not how you spell mahogany, but since that's how I spelt it in the beginning, it is a feature, not a bug, and I do not feel like changing it, to be honest, because then I have to change all of the graphic names, and every single horse that has that image, it would be a lot. It was like, after I found out, someone was like, "Hey Red, you spelled mahogany wrong," and I was like, oh great. We're gonna ignore that. So we don't talk about mahogany. Seal brown. And this takes time. It's definitely one of my most tedious moments that I have to do for the game. Creating them is tedious. Exporting them out is tedious. The whole entire process of making a new breed is so freaking tedious. So a lot of the times when it comes down to it, I just really don't want to do it. I want to put it off because, you know, it's a day off and I don't want to be doing and sitting and doing stuff like this. But, ooh, I think this is how that file is named, but I don't remember. Because then this one's seal cream. But, I'm actually going to be having a change in my job soon. I've just accepted a new position at Tractor Supply to be something called the Fast Track team, which means that I will have a set schedule of Monday through Thursday, 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. 11-hour days. And I'll have Friday, Saturday, and Sunday off every week. And I also will have all holidays off. And I also will be able to ask for days off specifically during Christmas and Thanksgiving to actually go home to family. But I don't know if I really, I don't know if I want to do it, but I am doing it because we need more money. In about literally 1 year, Tony will be graduating. No, buttermilk, buckskin. Tony will be graduating with his master's degree. And when he graduates, we will have to find a house. We'll have to find either living with his parents, living with my parents, or finding our own place. And right now we've got a little bit saved up, but not much. And I think that's the biggest part that I'm worried about is I really don't want to end up back with a parent. I loved my parents, but living with them was not the best. I'm fine with going down to Texas and living in Texas, but living with them again, I definitely don't think I want to do. just because it caused a lot of issues with me and my mother. Apricot, done. So if I take this position, I now will be able to earn more money. It's not a ton of more money. It's literally barely a promotion, in my opinion. It's kind of more work, in my opinion. But it will increase our... Okay, use your brain knowledge. It'll increase our amount that we will graduate with significantly. And so then we might be able to put a down payment down. And I think that that's kind of all I'm thinking about at the end of the day. So, best case scenario, this is something I only have to do for a year. Worst case scenario, in a year, we don't have enough money, we have to move in with a parent. But then there is one more opportunity, since I'm ranting to you guys while I'm doing this. There's one more opportunity that I have coming up, and that is a position with campus, which I honestly hope that that's what I get out of any position possible, but I haven't heard anything back yet. That would be what's called a hall director. I would be in charge of people on a floor for residence assistants, and it would be working with residents' life, and it would be double the pay of this fast track position that I'm currently taking, and it would also guarantee a non-expiring house. So in the sense, like I said, you know, Tony has to move out next May. He wouldn't have to move out next May. We would officially have a home, because they give you a house to live in. And as long as I have the job, mulberry gray, as long as I have the job, then I would still be able to stay there. And it wouldn't be like, hey, well, once you finish your degree, because there wouldn't be any finishing of it, it would be a job. We would live there. And that, I think, is the best case scenario, considering that we want to do our wedding next fall. And if we do our wedding next fall, we're going to be running into the situation of I don't have any idea how we're going to be doing that out here in Missouri if we don't live somewhere. I don't know. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and show you guys how I export out the markings and the overlays with this next one, because I have not done it for the Gaited Desert Horse yet. But I'm going to double check some of my layers, because I did do something different this time. Ooh, good thing I checked. Why is that there? Okay. So in order for me to make sure that I only get not the lines, I've got to go down my layers and delete my outside in all of my layers. So it'll slowly disappear. And then my Sabino, which is also located here, is there. And then my leg markings. See, now you're starting to see that hoof come through, which is good. Okay. And then the last thing that was not included in there was this eyeball. So for few spot, snow cap, snowflake, stuff like that, semi, snowflake, leopard, spotted blanket, doesn't really come onto the face, Sabino's right there. Yep. And then we're gonna do it for the adult too, just to make sure the adult is prepped and ready for me to export out. These files are massive. Like, the data that I pull from these files is insane. So I'm going to close this file and then reopen it so that it stays at this open section, so that it's not rolling it back all the way when I don't want it to. So I'm going to keep that one there. We're going to close the paint here. And okay, Appy has already been done. Sabino has already been done. The legs have not. You notice you still see the hoof in there, and I don't want to do that. So we're gonna go ahead and remove. There we go. Like that. So we can save that. Come on. Close that. And then we're gonna go ahead and do markings first, which is gonna be the legs. So I'm slowly gonna reduce all of the layers down. Yep. And then we're gonna turn off shading, turn off lines, turn off the eyeball, turn off the coats. So all we have is that. And we are going to bring our file down to 600 by 600. The game I have open is called Farm Together. I probably will do a stream over at some point. I'm thinking I'm going to do a stream tomorrow over Rival Stars, actually, is my plan. Okay, so I think what I want to do, I think I'm going to do this as the breed short. And so then these files are saved a little differently. This is front right cornet full. So there are a lot of just random letters. And so people see these files sometimes and they're like, what does that mean? Front right sock. Front right stocking. Front left cornet. Whoa, what are you doing? No, no, no. We're going to reset that. Front left cornet full. Front left sock full. Front left stocking full. Back right cornet full. Back right sock full. Back right stocking, lowercase t, full. Back left cornet full. Back left sock full. And back left stocking full. So those are markings, but so are the facial markings. So we're going to come in here, turn off the extra ones, and this is L blaze, which stands for large blaze, which I classify as over the nose. Then we've got just a regular blaze. Then we have the stripe and snip. And then we have the stripe. And then we have the star. Is going to be those. So we're going to close those, tab over, and I want to move all of these into markings. And then what we're going to do is we're going to do these. So this is Sabino 1F. We have 4 variations, so 2F, 3F, 4F. Then we jump into the Appaloosa, which I've got to close all of these folders. So we're going to start with Few Spot F. Snowflake F. leopard, F. Then we're going to jump into the spotted blankets here, which is SB 1F, 2F, 3F, 4F, 5F. Okay, and then we jump over to the semi-leopard, which has 2, so semi 1F, semi 2F, and then we go to snow caps. I love the fact that I have so many different variations within Ropin Ranch, but I hate that I have so many different variations within Ropin Ranch. Why I decided to do this for myself, I have no idea. But I'm the kind of person that when I play horse games, I really like having different options. I don't like the fact that it's always the same thing. I think that's what really didn't sell me on the paint horses for How Horse. I was really pissed off that, you know, every single time that I had a new foal, it was always like, they literally only have like 5 or 6 colors to begin with. So like that was annoying in general. Also, if you can hear Tony's chip bag that he's smashing in the other room, I do apologize. He's being very annoying.
Oh, smash.
Well, stop smashing. I'm recording a video and you're annoying my video.
You're calling me annoying?
I'm calling your smashing annoying.
Did you hear that, Toast? She called me annoying.
You guys hear that? He's talking to Toast. But now we go through all the Tovero markings. He's closing the door. Okay, and then we're gonna go through all the Tobignano. Again, I say things in very different ways than a lot of people do, so laugh at me if I'm saying it wrong. This is how I've always said them. We've got the Tobignano, 10 of each. Oh, as I was saying about horse, sorry. They only have like 6 variations of colors to begin with some of the breeds, and out of those variations, literally some of them only have like 2 different patterns, and that like always annoyed me. It felt like I was always getting the same color. It annoys me with the game in general when it comes to genetics, and I feel like I'm always getting the same thing over and over. That annoys me. Because I don't feel like that's how that should work. And then we're gonna do the Overo last. And then we do Overo. See, I should be all set to start uploading tomorrow on a good note. If I can actually not be distracted by everybody pinging me in the Discord server and asking for me to do bug reports and asking me to do things with them, I think I could actually potentially be done. I really want to try to get all this done though before the 26th. I don't know how many breeds I can actually push out. So after I finish the Overo, I go ahead and I open it back up to where it was. So that's where we started. And I'm going to go ahead and turn off all the markings. And we're going to switch it over to single coats, and we're going to start with bay and move our way down and do the exporting that started in the video. But I do all the markings and the overlays first. So like now I'm going to take all these and drop it into the overlay folder. And once I do the adult, then I'll go ahead and export out the bays and stuff like that in here, and the bays for the adults. And then, yeah, at that point, I just have to do the double coats. So now you guys see how close I am to being done. But I hope you guys enjoyed this small little video that just kind of goes over a little bit of what I do, and maybe it was a relaxing stream because I'm talking quietly for once. I don't know why I'm talking quietly. There's no one in this building except me and Tony, but I hope you guys have a lovely rest of whatever time of the day it is. For me, 1 a.m. I'm gonna go to bed. But take care, have a great rest of your day, and keep ranching.